Yo, what is up, people? It is your boy MM2K. We are here. We are live. We are going to be covering this special report, Project Resolve. I don't know what this is. This just came out of nowhere, and I want to make sure that we cover it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a stage in my Discord as well. Let's do that for those that want to listen in Discord. I'm going to set up a stage. Make sure that you're part of the MM2K Discord. If you're not, invite people. Let me give you a link. Let's see here. MM2K. Okay. Link to MM2K Discord for stage setting. For stage listen. All right. Here goes the link. Join it. He says, trash. Cold Blood Sensei's in the house. What's up, brother? I got to talk to you too, Cold Blood, after this, because we're gonna have to talk about some changes. And not it's not you. It's, you know, well, I'll talk to you about it. Let's see here. Okay, let me it's some changes that I'm going through with my content and some questions that I have that I got to get addressed elsewhere. So I wanted to bring it by you so we know how to move forward, you know what I mean? But it's nothing bad. But let me go here to MM2K server. Start stage, pick a topic. Let me see. Division 2 project. What's that project? What is this thing called? Project Resolve Reaction. You know what? I can't do a stage. Now that I think about it, I can't do a stage because y'all ain't going to be able to hear the audio. Because if I go try to share this, all it's going to do is mess up my live stream. Yeah, so I can't stage this. Like, stages are good for stages are good for what do you call it? For when you're doing when you're just speaking. You know, if I try to show you stuff, it's not going to work. He says, I'm being exposed to mine midness all week. Help. He said that sounded very ominous. No, it's not ominous. It's I'll talk to you about it. It's not bad at all. It's not bad from you and me. I don't think it's bad for anybody. It's just that I've just been looking at some things that we've been doing, and I'm like, wow, man, we've been really doing some great stuff. But what we're doing is supposed to be a part of a bigger picture. And I just got questions on the bigger picture. So I'll get to it. I don't think it's not bad at all. It's just, you know, we're just going to have to crack the whip a little bit. I'll talk to you about it. All right. So here it goes. And I'm going to shut off the music and shut up. And so we can listen.
Hello.
Feeling today?
Pretty excited. Finally get to talk about Project Resolve and all the stuff we've been working on, so yes.
Nice. As you can see, we're in a festive mood.
Yep.
Wearing some
Hold on, is this? There is something playing. What the F is this playing in the... What the hell? Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. There's something playing in the background. And I have no idea what it is. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. What is this playing in the background? Is this some shit off of... What is this? What am I listening to? There's something playing in the background and I don't... I swear I don't know what this is. See, this is the type of stuff that like pisses me off. Here, let me turn on my... What is this? Something is playing in the background and I don't know what it is. Desktop audio. What is this playing? Oh my God, this is annoying. I'm very upset at this moment because I don't know what the frick is playing. What the fudge is this playing? Hold on, I gotta get to the audio. What the I'm sorry, guys and gals. We're gonna figure this. Oh my God. I selected audio. Come on, Windows, don't be freaking remedial right now. What is playing? This is annoying. I can't get to what the audio is. Audio, sound. Jesus Christ, sound mixer options. What is playing? I don't know what's playing, y'all. I deeply apologize. What the f... Not in Discord. Ass manager. What is playing? I don't know. This is weird. Something's playing, and I, for the life of me, I can't figure out what it is. All right, y'all. I gotta.
What it's all about, to give you a glimpse at what Project Resolve is.
Okay, so we're back now. I deeply apologize. Holy cow! What the flip was that?
Of course, there is always a possibility for them to be adjusted based on your feedback, as usual. So do not take this as the final version of what you're gonna...
All right, we're back. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what the hell happened.
The rest of the season. It's just basically we want to share the general approach and the general ideas behind.
So we didn't miss much, it seems like.
How we want to approach them. But
another stream sabotage, great success.
also explain how the Project Resolve
that was freaking weird.
influenced the existing roadmap. And as you know, we shared the roadmap earlier this year. And because of the project Resolve, there were a few shifts made here and there. So let's understand why.
only Windows
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
would
as I said, it's
have you.
Project Resolve to be and to really be the full scope that we wanted it to be. We
Okay, let's
needed,
look.
almost the entire team to really just work on that. We didn't want any distractions. We didn't want to have to discuss priorities. Okay, Project Resolve or this other piece of content. So we decided to kind of freeze, in a way, our development on many things, which means, of course, that things we had planned earlier had to be moved later. But as you can see, our first focus has been Project Resolve, and this is going to be what comes out with the next title update, the next season. And then after that, we take the next year 6, and this is where we're going to be then releasing the other pieces that we had been working on. They are not finished, so as soon as Project Resolve is out, we're going to go back to working on the rest. But we had made some good progress on those already, so it's not as if we're starting from scratch. Of course, the big ones here being the revamp of the seasons 2.0 that you will see here in season 2, year 6, season 2. So this is, well, we're not here to go in details on that, but this is really rethinking the season approach in the Division 2. And then, of course, the story DLC that we had initially planned for year 5. That needs to be moved all the way to year 6. So we can really, once we are done with Project...
He said, oh my God, they're really about to torture people with this. Stop.
So with Resolve in terms of improvements, in terms of performance and all those things, and really work on that DLC with, what's, the best the game has to offer. So we can really bring it to the level of quality that will make us proud.
Yeah, but as we mentioned, the Project Resolve is here to lay the solid groundwork for the future content and DLC specifically. So that's why it's very important to understand why the shift happened and why it is our utmost, focus and the utmost importance is the Project Resolve right now. And we're going to publish the roadmap on our website and on socials, so you can take a look at it later. No need to screenshot anything unless you want to. Feel free to screenshot.
You will anyway.
Yeah. And also another roadmap that we showed in the pre-recorded video is a roadmap dedicated specifically to the Project Resolve. And as you noticed, there are going to be 2 test phases. So first test phase, as Yannick and Radu explained in the video, is actually going to happen this week.
Yep.
The preload will be available on 14th.
Quality of life fixes,
from December
balance,
15th to 18th, you are welcome to try
changes to Descent, Countdown, and Summit.
Be a part of Project Resolve. As usual, since we're going to have 2 phases, not everything is going to be available right at the first phase, and please refer to the patch notes.
Year 5, Season 3, Vanguard, Start, Manhunt.
And as you can see, also the Year 5, Season 3 gear was moved to the second phase. It's because we want you to concentrate.
So I miss what this freaking Project Resolved is. Damn it.
First and foremost. And then in January, we're gonna reconvince and collect all your feedback, make changes based on the feedback, and hopefully have a second successful test phase. And after that, the Project Resolve is going to be released together with the Season 3 Vanguard, with the rest of the gear, Manhunt, and pretty much everything that seasons are about. And of course, it's not going to be the
There's got to be more to this than just some quality of life stuff.
To the game. So basically, everything that you have to say about the Project Resolve changes, about the balancing, about the new features, about quality of life updates that are going to come with Project Resolve, please make sure to spare some time and test this amazing features on the PTS. Unfortunately, it's also going to be...
Sounds like that they got a long ways to go before they're going to release Heartlands.
As usual, we're going to have the character...
That's why they're doing this.
for the character template. So if you're not a PC player but still want to take part in the test, you're welcome to download the client and have the pre-built character for you.
Yep. And again, I think what's very important is to really state again that it's not just limited to Project Resolve. There are improvements that we have in mind that are going to come afterwards. There are things we're going to try in Project Resolve. You will see when we go through those changes. Some things that are more drastic than others. So we're going to be trying things, and maybe some of them I hope will be popular. Some might be less popular. So we will adapt afterwards. But it's really about, especially when we're thinking of like big topics like PvP. You will see there are some changes in here where I'm really curious and really excited to see what the reaction and the feedback will be.
They said health changes. What health changes?
And see what kind of changes we can make. But this is the first package, and this is going to be an ongoing thing in year 6 as well.
Yeah. So as we mentioned, that's just a glimpse at what's coming, and then it's up to you to vote for the most popular changes. Okay, but we talked a lot about what Project Resolve is, but let's get into details. And actually,
we haven't even started with the.
Yeah, there are a lot of
There's
cards. Oh my God, some of them I even have an extra.
They actually unfold because it didn't fit on one card, and there's like I don't know how many
it's
of them.
It's not even all of that. It's just
look at that one. Oh, there's text behind. I shouldn't open it. There's text behind.
It's not even the biggest one.
If I lift it, look, there's text behind.
I mean, I tried to be conscious and eco-friendly, so I did not print everything that we had. But then again, I have Yannick for that. He has everything.
What is this damn thing?
He asked me not to read that specifically, but
I know every detail of every single thing that every person in this team did.
Oops.
No, I don't.
Probably.
So I might make mistakes, but we'll be fine.
Yeah, let's look at all the changes that we're gonna have and we're gonna discuss today.
Okay, let's do that. Thank you.
Main topics. I mean, it would just make sense to say that all the changes can be categorized under PvP and PvE specific changes, probably except for the expertise. That's why it's a separate line. But today we also just going to discuss status effects, conflict, dark zone, fixes to dark zone.
I don't think global events should be messed with.
Global events.
Global events are the best part of the game.
Features. A lot of stuff. And that's just, a very general overview of what Project Resolve is. And first up, let's dive into status effects.
Oh yeah.
I know that a lot of PvP players were not very expectant of a lot of PvP updates to be shared on this live stream, and you guys are in for a surprise. It's fair, but finally.
Let's see what's going on. I should probably be recording this.
But yes, I mean it's.
Yeah, let me make some notes.
And when we started discussing, okay, where do we want to start to try to make PvP better? The main focus for us with Project Resolve in terms of PvP, it's at least the primary focus has been the PvP combat. It's been really trying to make encounters from player to player to feel better, to feel more balanced, and to allow, to not it just be about whoever shoots first, but actually allow for counters and for opportunities to react and to turn it around. So obviously status effects for PvP players has been a big topic for a very long time. So we wanted to try to approach it. We also did not want the approach to be, okay, let's nerf status effects to the ground and make it irrelevant, because that status effect is still a big part of the game. You can build towards it. There's a lot of mechanics around that. There's a lot of items that are built on status effects, and we didn't want to just remove that from the PvP experience. So the approach is more to try to keep it in check, and also make sure that we actually first prevent the overuse of status effects, and also allow players to have counters and to react when affected by status effects. So, no, to the list.
Time to look at the notes. And yeah, as Yannick mentioned, even though the status effect changes prioritize PvP experience, it's still some changes going to apply in PvE as well. But I honestly do not know where to start.
We'll keep an eye on that. But so with status effects, the main thing first is in terms of diminishing returns. So we're going to be implementing proper diminishing returns. So that means that when you apply a status effect on someone and then you apply that status effect again, the effects are going to be reduced and reduced and reduced until the person has eventually full immunity. So first, that's trying to limit the overstacking of status effects on other players. One thing that we're doing as well is we're categorizing those status effects into categories, which is, I have to look at my notes, but crowd control and damage over time. So it's not just diminishing returns in terms of shock and then shock and shock. Each status effect is categorized either in the crowd control area or in the damage over time area, and then the diminishing return applies to that whole family. So if we take, for example, if you apply bleed to someone and then you apply burn to someone, those are two damage over time status effects. So that means the diminishing return is going to apply already on the second one, even if it's not exactly the same, as long as it's in the same category. So that's the first part. And then the main thing with those, I guess we can actually start going through the details, because then it's on a case-by-case basis depending on the which status effects we are talking about. But when you take, burn, for example, so we talked about having counters. So with burn, for example, what we're going to do is we're going to say when you're dodge rolling, when you're under a burn effect, this is going to actually diminish the effect that
okay.
So you're going to
that makes sense. Effects
you're going to be able
will
to roll,
diminish
as you roll, as
upon
in the game when you
each
dodge roll,
stack.
this is going
Okay.
to
I mean, I think that's fair.
burn that you have on you. So that's one way for us to make sure that we give you some control and some way to react to that. And for bleed, for example, what we're saying is if you don't move when you bleed, you're going to also actually reduce the intensity of the bleed. But when you start moving, then it goes in full effect. So these are just examples on ways we are looking at kind of changing also a bit the moment to moment in PvP. So it's really
I think that's good. I think that's a smart move.
No longer just I have a status effect, I'm gonna die. No, there's the diminishing return, but there's also things you can do to actually try to
Counter that.
to counter and try to actually stay alive. One thing also that's going to be an important change in regards to status effects is that all the repair skills will now give you protection. So what that means is that with an application of a healing skill or repair skill, you're going to get 50%. Sorry, looking at my notes, I don't know the numbers. 50% hazard protection. So any heal effect is now also going to actually reduce the intensity of status effects and hazards in general. So that's also another way for us to try to make also the support and the healer role a bit more interesting and a bit more relevant in PvP and make heal in general more useful because until now it would have been just, like not necessarily great in PvP or because it's mostly just about shooting. So now hopefully this allows for another way also to react to status effect, especially as a team, and you can build your team towards it.
And also, it's important to mention that diminishing returns will not apply in PvE. So that's a PvP specific info. And also, as an example, shock, for example.
So these people ain't real. They are experts.
To kind of make sure that they prevent from shooting, but it's PvP only. It won't apply in PvE.
Yeah.
And same for the sake of outcast.
Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta go grab something.
And so we're also looking at things like the booster hive, and we've kind of drastically increased or improved the booster hive. So it's really going to become a skill that is going to be more relevant in PvP and really allow you to get some protection. And there's also another change that's actually not listed in here. So I'm jumping to another category, but it's very relevant to PvP. Is that now you're actually going to be able, if you want, to consume an armor kit and to get an instant heal of 25% of your armor. So you can still hold the button to get the hold action, and then you get the full armor. Or you can decide to, I'm not sure if it's double tap or what the control is, but you can choose to actually consume it for an instant 25% heal, which in PvP is also hopefully going to allow you to get that quick heal and roll your way out of combat and then turn the situation around.
It's actually here. It even says that the bonus applies even after the animation finishes. So
It was listed here, okay.
it was here.
I
But
can't read.
thank you for mentioning it. It's fine.
So anyway, there's more to it. This is just some of the gist. But yes, it's again, it's about keeping it in control, diminishing return, giving you some options to react either to the effect itself with the dodge roll, with the movement, with all of that, or having easier access to instant heal, and also making
All right, I'm back.
and healing rolls in general, therefore more useful in PvP.
Yeah, I mean, even though we mentioned that these changes will primarily target PvP, we're still going to monitor their impact on PvE.
Yep.
And that's where your feedback comes in handy. But of course, it's just a general like glimpse at what the change is going to be about. We will publish the detailed patch notes with all the values and explanation of what the diminishing returns is, how they are applied to different skills, how they're going to work now. So you're going to have your hands on all that information very soon.
And again, these are propositions, so especially PvP players, if you have a chance, please jump in on the PTS. Tell us how it feels, because there's a lot of moving pieces. So the best way to know if this actually works is just to crash test it on the PTS.
Absolutely. And while we're on topic of PvP, there are also a few fixes. Not all of them, of course not, but just a few of them that I thought that
I think that's
happy to hear about. So basically, to give you just a very general overview,
I think that's good.
has been fixed.
Common glitch. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's been plaguing us for a while, right? But the glitch that allowed people to use their shield to actually shoot through corners and through cover without being seen.
Oh shit! I didn't know about that.
We fixed it. We fixed several of them actually, because there's more than one issue here. Hopefully we fixed all of them. If not, please let us know. But yeah, hopefully this will be a thing of the past and no longer hiding behind cover and actually shooting through them.
Yeah, and letter glitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Was also targeted, and yeah, so whoever tried doing that, it's done. Your days are done.
I'll try again on PTS. Tell us.
Yeah, please do. You won't be punished for that, I promise. And also on the topic of other PvP changes. There were a few made in Conflict and Dark Zone.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start with Conflict. So with Conflict, main priority, main idea was to make sure that it's the purest PvP experience available in the game, and by making it balanced to all players.
Yeah, exactly. So it's Conflict is, we want that to be mostly about your skills as a PvP player. So RPG still matters, your build still matters, but it shouldn't matter as much, especially your seniority in the game. So the most drastic change we are doing in Conflict is that when you enter Conflict now, we are going to take away your shade bonuses and your expertise bonuses. These will be brought down to 0. So it is about you and about the items you have, and no longer about how many hours you have spent on the game. So that's one way for us one drastic way to try to bring balance into Conflict. Then what else do we have in here?
We also have one of the positive changes, that the gear and the loot that can be obtained in Conflict was also buffed. It's greater quality, improved quality of the rewards you can get there.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we will be able to publish the whole list I honestly do not have it with me here, but it's a big improvement compared to what we have in the game right now.
Yeah, we don't want you to, choose to play conflict at the cost of your progression in the game, your progression in terms of XP or in terms of gear. So we really want to try to make it as rewarding as we can. So time spent on conflict is as rewarding as time spent on anything else. So it is not a sacrifice to choose to play conflict compared to anything else.
It's also important to mention spawn areas and loadout switching.
Yeah, so spawn areas. So one thing we are trying, and I talked about changes that are things we want to try. I think this goes in this category. Is we are actually going to have turrets protecting the spawn areas in the conflict maps to try to prevent spawn camping. So yeah, let's see if that works out or if we need other measures. But that's one way for us to try to make sure that there is also a chance to recover as a team, and you're not just being pushed to the spawn point and then spawn camped, and you have no way to come out. So the turrets will hopefully be here to help you out a bit on that. And in terms of loadouts, yes, we also want, we don't want a conflict game to be just about switching loadouts to adapt to whatever the other players have. We want you to be able to adapt, but not necessarily just switch on the go. So what we're going to do is we're only going to allow you one loadout switch per spawn. So when you die and you respawn, you're allowed to change your loadout, but then when you go back into the action, you can no longer change your loadout. So this is really to try to make you commit to a play style, and then really, once again, make the best out of it and make it be about your skills and less about how many items do you have in your stash.
And we believe that would allow for a bigger variety of play styles and more different players to actually find conflict as a more appealing game mode.
Yep.
And the same change, from what I remember, is going to be applied in the Dark Zone regarding the turrets.
I mean, turrets we have in the Dark Zone. Now, what we're doing in the Dark Zone is also in terms of loadout switching. So it's not exactly the same, but what we're going to do. So, sorry, let me rewind. With the Dark Zone, one thing we want to change is that we really want to try to push the identity of the Dark Zones, especially the invaded Dark Zone and the non-invaded, to try to find the best compromise between offering a really intense PvP, rogue versus agent chase experience, and that's going to be mostly in the invaded Dark Zone. And then the non-invaded Dark Zone being something that is a bit milder for players that are not necessarily looking for this kind of fights. There will still be PvP in the Dark Zone. We are not taking it away, but what we want is we want to try to make it a bit more fair in the non-invaded Dark Zone and keep the invaded for those who are really looking for that rogue experience. So one thing we're doing, for example, is it's especially focusing on the rogue mechanics in the non-invaded Dark Zone. We're going to make the hold to go rogue longer. So it's from, what are the values here? Was 0.75 seconds. Now it's going to be 5 seconds. So you actually have to commit. You really have to go in hiding and hold that button. So it's no longer just a surprise behind the back of another player and shoot them directly. You have to plan and anticipate for it. Then the other thing that we're doing is extend the duration of the rogue first rank. So it takes a bit longer to actually go up in rank. And then especially the most important is again about loadouts. Once you go rogue in the non-invaded Dark Zone, once you go rogue, you can no longer change loadout. So this is also again a commitment. You need to think, you need to plan and anticipate, and then commit to whatever decisions you've made.
Yeah, and we hope that these changes would actually increase accessibility of the Dark Zone and reintroduce this mode to a wider audience. Because back in the days, it was fun and accessible for almost everyone. Nowadays,
it's like everybody looks for something different in a dark zone. So it's always going to be tough because it's a PvPvE area, and some people will go there because they're looking for PvE incentives. Some people will go there for PvP incentives. And the luxury we have, I know that the 3 dark zone concept is not necessarily the most popular decision we've made, but that's what we have now. So let's use that, and let's really try to give identity, use the fact that we have 3 dark zones and give identity, so we have different rule sets between them, and really try to have different dark zones that offer different things depending on what you want. So again, this is why we're saying invaded dark zone, this is the intense one. Non-invaded, this is something that is a bit more accessible for everyone. So it is a bit less intimidating as a player, but is not necessarily into PvP. It is a bit less intimidating. But once again, if you want to play rogue in those, you absolutely can. It's just you need to know what you're doing.
Yeah, there is a chance to customize, in a way, your experience and choose what works best specifically for you, and still be able to enjoy dark zones there, because that's one of the most exciting parts in the game. And to finish off with the PvP changes, let's talk about expertise for a second, because it's another thing that we mentioned earlier today, and does not necessarily belong to PvP changes, but would also affect them greatly. And we have an infographic to show how drastically the values has been changed to make expertise and optimization costs more accessible for everyone. This is what you see right now on the screen. These are the new values, and if you want to compare those to what we had in the game before, that information can also be published. But to those who know, you can already see that it's so much less than it was originally.
Yeah, I mean, those numbers still probably look high for a lot of people, but it's, we just want it to be less of a grind. To be honest, grinding the expertise is maybe not the most fun part in the game, so we just want it to be a bit more accessible, and especially because we're taking it away in conflict, at least not in a dark zone, by the way. This change to reduce expertise and shade levels to 0 is only in conflict and not in dark zone. But now that we have that kind of in check, we're happy to make the expertise progression a bit faster. So it is less intimidating, less of a core that you have to do because of this grind. So we drastically reduce those costs.
Yeah, and that's I don't think that there is more on that to say. We once again asking you to try out these new changes on the PTS in the end of the week. And the next big category and the next big topic that we want to discuss today is balancing. It's not only going to be about weapons and talents, so we're also going to discuss how it's going to affect the gear.
Those cards, by the way, are absolutely not in the right order. So I apologize if I'm just like constantly looking for what is Daya talking about? Where is that?
Yeah, that's my fault. But here comes one of the biggest lists. I remember doing stuff like that in school whenever there are like long history conspects and you need to write everything down and there's not enough space and you just keep gluing some.
So the weapon balancing changes.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. And it's a very small font, like super small. I need to squint my eyes to check those.
Do you want to read all of them?
No. I mean, that was your idea, right? To have everything just in case. Let's just talk about what the general buff balance pass was aimed at.
Yeah, so the idea is and I mean, that's in general what we want to do is balancing anyway, but it's like, let's look at everything that is underperforming. Let's take, like, we don't want to nerf the stuff that is powerful, because if it's, it's powerful, it's fun and people like it. So we want to, limit as much as possible, like taking that fun away. But instead, let's look at everything else and try to make everything else just as fun and interesting. So it's really not about giving you more power, it's giving you more options. And so we looked at every weapon in every category or every weapon family and just looked at, okay, what kind of quick buff can we make to that weapon to actually give it more identity and also bringing it up closer to the power level of the best performing and the most popular weapons. So that's why this is a long list, because it's again, it goes through every single weapon, and we're not going to go through all of them, but it's in terms of weapon damage, in max size, in RPM, in all kind of changes depending on weapon, depending on which one it is. There are changes in here that are going to impact all of them.
Assault rifles, LMGs, submachine guns, rifles, marksman rifles, pretty much everything. And I think the most important part is also that exotic weapons, third attribute, will now be reconfigurable.
Yeah, that's something we've done more with the last exotics, and it was fairly popular. So yes, with Project Resolve, you're going to be able to recalibrate the third attribute of every exotic weapon in the game, which is cool. On the other hand, we know that it means that a lot of you are just going to be, going damage to targets out of cover. Because that's probably the best stat out there. This is something we have in mind, and this is something we're going to look at as well in terms of the value of those attributes and making sure that the other options are also interesting. It's not listed in here because I don't know yet if we will manage to make it for Project Resolve, but just want you to be aware that we know what the consequence of that change will be. But still, let's see how creative people can get with being allowed to change the third attribute of an exotic weapon.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And another thing that I think important to mention here, that since intention was not to overbuff some exotic and named weapons, and certain buffs from the weapons that these named and exotics are based on may not carry over. So that's why we're going to publish the whole list for you to look through. It's not necessarily going to mention all the named and exotic weapons too, but just to make sure that we are not making some weapons overpowerful, but changing the base weapon and then applying that to the named and exotic as well. Yeah. I mean, is there, if you want to read
I was trying to see which ones stand out, but I'm just going to give you some random ones, right? But like F2000 replica and the shield splinterer in the process are going to get plus 50 RPM, plus 10 max size. That's one example. The military P416 and custom P416 Glory Days Eagle Bearer, plus 50 RPM. In LMGs, Iron Lung actually getting a plus 10% weapon damage. Stoner LMG, Quiet Roar Blue Screen, plus 20% weapon damage. What else do we have in here? Some machine guns, the M1928 Tommy gun, the Slayer, Ground Grade, plus 10% weapon damage. What else do we have?
Dread Addict, plus 15.
Yep.
Commando.
What else? MDR Battle Rifle Replica, plus 10% weapon damage, plus 20 RPM. In MMR, also Covert SRS A1, SRS A1 Replica, Pinprick Mantis, plus 30% weapon damage. So, yeah, there's a lot. And again, some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger. So again, all of that will be on the PTS, and the full list will be published as well. So you can go through that, make your own mind, try them on the PTS, see if we went overboard with some of them. Maybe we'll see. That's what the PTS is for. But again, it's what taking the time to actually focus on improvements gives us. It's really doing a general pass on everything to really try to bring everything up.
And weapons are not the only thing that underwent such a pass. There has also been a gear balancing pass as well. Mainly targets brand sets. But you want to talk about it?
Sorry, I look eager. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. So yeah, the brand sets is so the idea with brand sets is just that. It feels like it's kind of rare to see people using 3 pieces because you have to sacrifice a gear set if you do that, or you have to sacrifice other things. And usually the 3 piece is not necessarily that interesting. So what we wanted to do with brand sets is really make sure that we reward the commitment to a brand set. So if you're going to use 2 pieces or 3 pieces of a brand set, like those bonuses should be worth it. So what we did is we did a general pass on the brand sets to make sure that the 2 pieces and 3 pieces bonuses are actually better. So we are not changing the first piece. I think none of them has their first piece changed, but it's, again, big list of changes. Working for can't wait for people to screen grab that.
Zoom in.
That's what I do. But yeah, if you look at, I don't know, what can I pick here from
Let's go with Empress.
When you pick the one that didn't have a change to the 3-piece bonus. But Empress, for example, the 2-piece bonus is going to go from 10% skill damage to 20% skill damage. If we take, whatever do we have in here?
Bellstone gonna get the 48% incoming repairs as a third.
As a third, yeah.
Yeah.
Gilagard, no change to do 1 piece, but the second piece goes from 10% health to 20% health. The third piece goes from 1% armor regen to 3% armor regen. What is
3 pieces on Habsburg Guard gonna give you 20% status effect.
Yeah. Fenris is going to get a 30% weapon stability on 3-piece instead of 20. What do we have as well? Petrov, 30% ammo capacity instead of 20% on 3-piece. So again, some of them get their 2-piece bonus increase, some of them don't. And then most of them get their 3-piece bonus increased as well.
Except
we're not changing,
except
for Empress, yeah. We're not changing the bonus, we're just increasing them.
And the ones that remain unchanged, Providence, Circle of Concern, Yal, and we're going to publish the full list with all the changes with before and after, so you can compare where the second or third piece bonus increased, also in the patch notes.
Yeah. And it's going to be fun with the Ninja Bike to see how people actually combine that and like the game.
Yeah. And that's not it. We still have talents.
Oh yeah.
Talents balancing.
Where is that?
You can have my cards if you want. I don't know.
I'm not in talents.
I made sure to place everything in order. I don't know
I'm at the
why
wrong place.
mines are in order.
I'm at global events. I'm at the wrong place.
Now I have mine.
I stopped doing that. That's the last time I did.
Okay, let's talk about
It's all
talents.
going to be on the patch notes anyway. So
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But what if there are, I don't know, some secret codes or my
you're going to see the note. Yannick, don't say that.
my PC password isn't there?
That could happen.
It's not. IT security is a big priority here. That's true. Why
Yes.
you're looking at me.
That's why I talk. Okay, so talents. I mean, same logic. Trying to look at the talents that are, that are underperforming, making them better. There's also, a PvP aspect to that. We want to make sure that some talents in PvP are either better or less. Less the way to go. So some of those changes are actually PvP only. Some of those changes are for everything. But for example. The Doctor Home, the proc condition is going to change from headshots to target killed. So it's less a skill test and more of a okay, shoot at them. The Actum Est, which is from the, I'm just having, Sentinel, having brain fart. It's going to be 50% now in PvP only. 50% of the magazine is going to be filled with shocked ammo instead of 100%. What else do we have in here? Again, there's that very long list. Thunderstrike goes from 20% weapon damage to shocked enemies to 30% extra damage to shocked enemies. No, that's the other way around. From 30%, it goes to 20. It's a nerf.
It's going to be in the patch notes. So
it's going to be in the patch notes.
Don't need to write anything down.
No. What else do we have? Big Game Hunter headshots would be plus 4% headshot damage instead of plus 2%. What else do we have? Intimidate is going to get 3 stacks per second, up to a max of 9. And instead of 1 stack to a max of 7. What else do we have in here?
Unbreakable and perfect unbreakable, only in PvP.
Yeah, Unbreakable is getting a small nerf from 50% to 40% armor repaired. PvP only, that change. Perfect goes from 55 to 50. So small tweaks for some of them, bigger for others. So yeah. Foundry bulwark, also process refinery. Increase makeshift repairs. Gosh, this text. Sometimes it's hard to read the talents in our game. But it's going to... So increases makeshift repairs from 25% over 10 seconds to 35% over 10 seconds instead of 20 to 30. So we're increasing makeshift repairs and also the process refinery. I should have started with makeshift repairs, would have been easier. But anyway, there will be patch notes with all those details.
I think that's
bunch
enough
of
to
changes.
just give a general glimpse and the feel of it.
And also a change that is very important for PvP is the technician's linked laser pointer is going to have its duration reduced from 20 seconds to 6 seconds. So
That's a big one.
no longer just 3 pulses on everyone that lasts forever.
And I guess that's pretty much what.
There was a blank. I was like, what's next?
The plan. What's next? We still have a few topics to discuss. I just wanted to summarize everything and say that's pretty much it for the balancing. And thank you so much for giving us the reading comprehension class.
I just confused everyone even more.
Please do not rate his reading comprehension skills. But whatever. We also want to give you an update on the global events, projects, quality of life updates, and new features. But we'll start with the global events, and it's also a huge list because we actually targeted all of them, apart from your favorite. Golden Bullet is not here, but there is a reason for that. And as you can see, that's a very, very low. You don't have it.
I have it somewhere. I'll find it.
I'll start then. So the main idea behind it was to all the improvements for global events were aimed to make the rest global events, apart from the Golden Bullet, more fun and engaging, right? And basically what we wanted to do is to leverage the success of the Golden Bullet and try to apply it to the rest of the global events. So basically all of them underwent some changes here and there. There was also a huge list. Did you find yours? Good.
Yeah, I found it was misleading because it's printed on both sides. So I thought I didn't have the whole thing.
Yes, that's...
I sound very critical. I'm not criticizing Daria's methods, by the way. I'm just... we haven't rehearsed this so much. So.
Next time, I'm just going to print everything on A2 or A3 format and just, put it on the walls here. So
I'm just old,
can read. But I think we can also just give a glimpse of a few changes here and there. Like, for example, for Guardians, we wanted players to be more aggressive when engaging with angels and take more risks. That's why when killing an angel, in addition to restoring armor to full, 50% of total armor is going to be added to the bonus armor. Same thing for Guardians, increased damage buff from 30 to 50% because the previous damage felt a little bit underwhelming, so we just buffed it.
Yep.
Polarity switch. Let's see. Changed max stacks from 5 to 4 because it took too long to reach the full stacks, and we just decided to make it a bit easier. Also changed the damage bonus per stack from 20 to 25% to compensate for the less stacks. And killing an enemy with the right polarity will reload your weapon. Do you also want to?
Yeah, and the thing with polarity switch is just that also it's no longer going to be on hitting an enemy, but if you hit an enemy of the wrong polarity, you're going to lose stacks. Now it's actually going to be on killing that enemy. So we're actually allowing you to make mistakes and realize that you're shooting the wrong enemy. And it's just when you kill them, if you actually are shooting the wrong one, then you're going to lose stacks. And as we said, if you kill the right ones, you get an auto reload. So the idea is just to really, with polarity switch at least, was just to to really make it first more forgiving, more impactful in terms of bonus, and especially also less of a reload fest, where suddenly, when you're in the flow and you're hitting the right enemies, but then you need to reload because you're out of ammo, and then you were in mindset of like, okay, I'm yellow, I'm gonna shoot yellow. You have to reload. Oh wait, no, I'm blue, and so now it's going to reload automatically as long as you're playing it right. So it's really for us to really keep you in the flow of like having the right targets and playing the right colors.
Yeah, there, Hollywood triple explosion range.
Hollywood is easy. More explosions, bigger
More
explosions.
Yeah. Triple explosion damaged. Explosions generate signature ammo and grenades at your location.
And that was one angle with Hollywood, was also that it should be the signature weapon global event. So we really want to make sure that when you use your signature weapon, or when you play with the modifier, we give you the tools to actually keep it running. So it should really be the one where you're playing as much as possible, almost all the time, with your signature weapon being out, because that's what it should be built for. It's all about spectacle and big destructions.
For Shade Exposed, stacks are going to be acquired 50% faster because the event feels better when you are exposed, and we just want for the players to reach the exposed status faster than what previously was. Also double pulse radius, because sometimes it used to miss the enemies, and now hopefully it's going to be more reliable. 65% damage instead of 1015% damage from pulsed enemies. Non-pulsed enemies still deal full damage.
Yeah, it's just really to try to get you in the flow of getting the getting the effect faster, getting the stacks faster, releasing those stacks, being more generous with what you get out of it, and really again more forgiving, and that's just more fun.
More fun. And with the animated, it's also explosions, triple explosion range, and increased explosion damage by 50%. And also we increased the enemy headshot weakness by 50%. To kind of incentivize you to go
kill
for
them,
the
kill them with headshots, let them explode, and then let them die from their own explosions.
It sounds way meaner than it's supposed to.
It's supposed to be about fun, but
it is fun. But talking about other fun things, global events are not the only thing that underwent changes. There was also a big pass on the projects, and there were also at least 3 cards. One of them, do you have yours?
Somewhere.
Just take mine. Here is the project. Yeah, you have them.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah, there are just 3 cards. This is how many changes the projects underwent, and basically the idea was to make the projects more worthwhile, more interesting, more engaging, and that's why some of them are going to receive new rewards, better rewards. There are also going to be some updates to conditions as well. Do we want to just, give some sneak peeks?
But the general intention with projects is that, especially when you take the daily projects, for example, like it should be like when I log into the game and I don't really know what to do, like it should almost be your first reflex is to open the project and see, okay, how can I get some quick stuff? If I'm just gonna play 20 minutes today, the daily project should be your way to go, and it's not the case today. So we really wanted to boost that because they're controlled. You only get only a certain amount of them, so it's easy for us to make them generous and make sure that this is an easy checkbox thing to do when you're starting your session. So it's really about making them not too tedious to complete and make sure that they are really rewarding. So it should be a no-brainer to do the projects when you're planning your session.
So, for example, talking about daily projects, more rewards were added to the projects at the base of operations. And for example, small amount of exotic components, named items, and equipment items as well. That's something that was not there previously. Let's see what else we have. There were also changes to weekly projects and Dark Zone and Conflict projects. For example, for Dark Zone and Conflict, we added named items, reduced necessary objectives to defeat enemies from 5 to 3, reduced objectives to recover Dark Zone drops from 5 to 3, also added equipment items, named items. For weekly projects, for invasion projects, added 3 new items, a few exotic components, exotic cash. So you get the gist of it.
More loot, more
loot.
rewards.
Yeah, and a bit more accessible, a bit easier to complete the project and get the rewards. So yeah, also the full list, since there's a lot of stuff, I don't see the need for us to just recite everything and to read, because obviously we can't read. But yeah, you will get the full list in the patch notes. And the few last things that I wanted for us to touch on is the quality of life and new features. And I think we can start with the quality of life. And
Yep.
there were very significant changes made to the loot system and inventory system. And I think we can talk about loot crates first. And
Yep. The main change, and that's one that's been asked for a very long time, is that now all the loot crates in the world are going to scale to the global difficulty settings of your map. So if you put your map on heroic, your loot crates, all of them, the one that's right next to the safe house, or the ones anywhere in the world, are going to scale and give you heroic quality loot. So hopefully, no longer purple loot when opening boxes. And this is a way for us to try to, send you back into the open world. We already did that when we looked at the XP rates and made the XP more rewarding in the open world, but we wanted the exploration and the opening loot crates in the open world also just as rewarding. So now it's all going to scale proper when you play heroic. Every box you open is going to be a heroic box and no longer just some weird loot.
Yeah, that's a big one. And also there was the mod space, because it's being cluttered needlessly and there's a lot of stuff you have in it. And basically the idea was to make the skill mode inventory management more manageable, more efficient.
Yep.
So now each bonus can only be owned once, and the value of the role gonna update when a better one drops for you. And basically it's going to make it so much easier for you to go through it and understand which mode is better.
So what this means just clearly is just really that every skill mod is unique now. So every type of skill mod is unique. So you can only have one copy of the damage mod for that skill and no longer just drop multiple copies of it. When you drop a new copy of it, if it's a better roll, it's just going to update the roll of the one you've saved. So you no longer have to go back in your skill mod inventory and look at, okay, what do I have and which one is better, and do all the inventory management. There's enough inventory management with our things as well. So as a start, we wanted to look at skill mods and make that much faster, especially for skill mods. There's really no real reason to hold on to a worse version of a mod, because you can only use those mods specifically in those slots for that skill. So it's not as if you will have use for that mod somewhere else anyway. So it was really just clutter for nothing. So now it's all going to be, the game will take care of that for you, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So basically automated system for skill modes. And another thing that armor kits replenish with the second cooldown, basically the new feature that would allow you to instantly use the armor kit to replenish 25%.
Yeah.
And in the addition to the existing functionality of holding the button down to get the 100%. And I guess the Shade Watch bonus.
Yeah. So let's talk about Shadewatch bonus. No, so we've made a change that ultimately is probably not going to change a lot for a lot of our players. But basically, what we wanted to do is, for reasons that are going to be obvious to people who know the history of our game, we wanted to implement a cap to the health bonus of the Shadewatch levels, because we know that when people reach ridiculous levels, especially when people exploit our game and then gain hundreds of thousands of levels as it happened, the bonuses become completely out of whack. So what we wanted is we wanted to implement a cap to those, but we also wanted to make sure that this is a cap that is achievable, but also feeling rewarding enough. So what we're doing is, you get 30 HP per level from level 1 to 1000. That's the way it's always been. Then after that, you used to get 3 HP per level infinitely. Now what we're doing is we're going to say from level 1001 to level 2000, you're going to get, again, 30 HP per level. After 2000, you're capped. You're no longer gaining HP per level. So what that means, math, that means that once you reach the cap, you will have 60,000 extra HP, which is what in the current game before Project Resolve you would reach by getting level 10,000. So we are making it faster to reach the cap, but therefore there is a cap, which is now at level 2000, 60,000 HP.
Yeah, that's a very nice one. And a few other things that I mentioned, that there were changes made to the inventory system as well, and we already talked about the skills, but there is a very important one, completely new one, a new feature that is going to be called tinkering. It's actually going to be a new menu. And
yeah, so the idea was to kind of make sense of recalibration and optimization living together, because both those things they work together, but the way the game presents them is, it doesn't really make them or show them together. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring them together under one menu that is called tinkering. So it's still the same functionality. You will, from the tinkering menu, you will have the option to recalibrate a stat or to optimize a stat. So you go into tinkering, you look at an item, you look at your stats, and then for each stat you have the option: do you want to recalibrate or do you want to optimize? You can always still only recalibrate one stat, but then the other ones you can optimize. So that's the idea of tinkering. The big thing with the tinkering screen is that we're going to allow you to open that screen from anywhere in the world. So you no longer have to go back to your recal station to actually open recalibration and optimization. You will be able to do that on the fly during a main mission, in the world, during whatever. You will be able to actually do some recalibration and optimization. The idea being that if you drop a piece of loot and it's almost an upgrade compared to what you have, you can quickly equip it, upgrade it if you have the materials, so you directly take it on your build, and you can keep going. You no longer have to hold on to it and wait until you go back to the White House to remember, oh, I have that piece of loot and what did I want to do with it? So you're able to make a quick decision, and we're saving time, so you no longer have to go back to the White House constantly and come back. One big change that we're doing in part of that is the recalibration library is becoming just the library. That's the way it's called. It functions the same, but one thing that you should know is that now the library is also going to be the cap at which you can optimize a stat. So if you want to do optimization on a stat, you will only be able to optimize it up to whatever is stored on your library, which again allows us to have things make more sense together and make those two functionalities synergizing. But therefore, I'm going through the whole thing. I hope that's okay.
It's fine.
One thing we're going to do as that, and you might have seen that because there was a hint of it on the screen earlier. But therefore, we are going to reduce the cost of optimization across the board. We're halving it. So yes, you have the extra work of having to actually store the stats in your library before you can optimize to the highest levels. But therefore, the act of optimizing is going to be cheaper. It's going to be half the cost. So making optimization hopefully a bit more accessible to more players.
Yeah, the optimization costs are going to be reduced greatly, and you can. Oh, thank you, Dory, for bringing it back. Yeah, so
These are expertise. I don't know that they have optimization on those.
yeah, they don't.
It says optimization in the title, so that's why I said there's a tease, but the costs are actually the expertise ones.
But that's that's pretty much it. But there are a few other things that are also going to be available in the PTS. For example, the ability to send an item to stash with getting a warming. What is warming? Warming, global warming. Basically a warning about the stash being full. Sorry, it's the end of the day, and that's a lot of stuff we need to go through. And also an option to show the stash item count when approaching the specific item without the need to access it. So a lot of things that should help you optimize and spend less time going through your inventory.
It's the same AR as you have on the backpack now. So as you approach the stash, you will see how many items. And as Daria said, it's all the small things that are hopefully making the experience a bit smoother.
No, but I think those improvements overall, like combined together, they really provide a much fresh take on the inventory management and the inventory system. And I guess to a lot of people who just don't want to spend so much time because we'll have work, we'll have families, we just want to come home, enjoy the game, and do not spend time sorting out the stuff that we got on the previous runs. That's going to help a lot.
If you're like me, if you play and then you hold your loot and then you log out thinking, I'll deal with it later, and then you log back in and you forget to do your inventory management, and then you go into a mission and then you can't loot anymore.
That's all of us.
You're still going to have to do that, do your inventory management, but some steps are actually going to be at least a bit easier. And these, there's more things we have in mind and we want to do with inventory management. I don't want people to get the impression that this is our answer and everything is going to be fixed. No, these are improvements. This is a step, and hopefully there will be more coming in the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's also a thing that we mentioned in the roadmap, that it's not like Project Resolve going to happen and nothing will come afterwards. It's going to be a few gradual steps towards the final goal, but we'll talk about it more in the future. And I guess the last thing that we want to mention, last but not least, it's the game modes. And there are just a few smaller things that wanted to outline. Like, first of all, optimization have been implemented to all the 3 game modes that we have in the game right now, Descent, Countdown, and Summit. And we believe that those changes would lead to enhanced stability and performance improvements overall. So please do let us know how it feels with all those improvements in the PTS. And Summit fans have a big announcement. The level 100 XP issue has been also solved. Why you're looking at me as if it was?
We're fixing the XP issue of Summit. So it's for those of you that have been gaining a lot of XP by using that. Sorry, you have to find other ways. And then the last change, sorry, maybe you wanted to say it, I'm diving into it.
No, please, it's the Descent, yeah.
Yeah, so to Descent, there's one significant change we're making, and it's, there's 2 changes we're making. But the first one is that we are going to introduce a talent rotation to Descent. Because the main issue is just there's a lot of talents in Descent. And as we add more talents to the game and we add them to Descent, the pool gets more and more diluted. And it gets harder and harder to actually get the build you want or to get the talents that are interesting. So what we're going to do is now there will be a rotation. So not all talents will be available all the time. It will be pools of talents that are going to be available this week and then next week. And I say week, I don't even know if it's weekly. I don't remember. But there's going to be a regular rotation of the Descent talents. So hopefully that means curated talents. That means easier to, on specific rotations, get the builds you want. And also on other occasions, if the rotation is not what you usually play with, maybe discovering new play styles, but through a curated list of talents. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is we have done a pass in terms of session length in Descent to try to make them shorter. So that means the time it takes to reach the Nemesis is going to be shorter overall. The time it takes to reach rewards in general in Descent is also going to be shorter. So we wanted to bring down the playtime a bit in Descent to not be that big of a time commitment when you go into Descent thinking, okay, I'm going to have to spend the next 2 hours here. So it should be faster now.
And yeah, thank you so much for reciting all those changes. And now it's time for your favorite part. That's the Q&A session. And thank you so much, Polina, for providing us with collecting all the questions from the chat. I'm a little bit surprised to say that there are not a lot of them, but probably because I really hope that it's almost because we answered the majority of the questions introducing the changes and the fixes that are coming with Project Resolve. But there is going to be...
Everybody is just too busy commenting on your beautiful hairdo.
Yeah, it's nice. And you have a matching one because it's holiday season. By the way, if you do not know, there is a holiday event, Winter Project, right now available in the game. There is still time up until the January 9th. And there are a lot of new items you can grab through this project, apart from the items that we brought from previous years, including the Ubimos mask, because people were asking about it last year. So it is available in the game right now. The nice backpack, the new sweater, some new emotes, right, with the bell. So yeah, there is still time. But enough about Christmas. Let's talk about questions that you guys have, and let's start with the PvP. Will the issue with the cheaters be addressed in Project Resolve?
Yeah, we're going to implement the line of code that says cheaters equal no. Cheaters is, cheating in general in the game is something that we always look at. And I know some people won't believe me, but we are always implementing improvements to our cheat detection, and we are banning cheaters on a daily basis. We're just not bragging about it because that's not the way we do. But that doesn't mean it's perfect. Yes, we know cheating is a thing. We are working on improvements, some for Project Resolve, some for later in terms of detection, in terms of how do we prevent cheating or how do we detect cheating when it's happening. We are also investigating on Cronus Max and see what we can do about it. No promise, but this is something we're looking at, and we are fully aware that we can do all the improvements in the world in PvP. If cheating and abusing the game is still a thing, then PvP is never going to be a good experience. So yes, we are committed to making those improvements and to trying to always make the situation better when it comes to cheating. But at least I don't want people to think that we're not doing anything, because that's not true.
And also, a lot of this work is done thanks to your reports. Whenever you encounter cheaters, and if you can grab a video where it's visible and easy to understand that this person is cheating, and you're submitting those to Ubisoft support. A lot of people tag us on social media. Unfortunately, that is not how we deal with cheaters. We have a specific team dedicated to identifying the cheating practices and sanctioning players. So please keep reporting them to Ubisoft support, and that is also another way to make the environment more enjoyable for everyone. And
if you're cheating in a game, just don't be a dick. Go play something else.
Beep. It was supposed to be. No, but that's correct. 2 other questions. Is the invaded dark zone going to be more rewarding?
Yes, that's also something we're looking at, making invaded dark zone specifically more rewarding. So more details on that, but yes, that's part of the package.
Will the expertise be removed from dark zone? I think we discussed it.
No, we mentioned it. No, the change to expertise and shade levels is only planned for conflict. Please, let's have that conversation. So far, we want to keep it in a dark zone because the idea is conflict is where the PvP balancing is happening. This is where we are implementing normalization to make sure that everybody has a chance, no matter if you've played the game for 2,000 hours or for 50 hours. We want people to have a chance to compete in conflict. The Dark Zone, on the other hand, this is the PvPvE experience where we think it's okay if you spent a lot of time in the game and you are more, by definition, more powerful than another one. You deserve to, have that power be represented in the Dark Zone. So far we don't plan to implement the change to taking away expertise and shield levels from the Dark Zone. But please do give us feedback.
And regarding stability, there is a question about the game crashes and will they be addressed? And I do not have all the technical details here with me, but I know for a fact that a lot of things that were implemented in the game were actually aimed at making the experience more stable and reducing the crashes.
That's what this live stream is about. It's Project Resolve and Project Resolve. I mean, it's not going to fix all the crashes. We're never going to fix all the crashes because it's a huge game and there's a million reasons why the game can crash. But there's been a lot of improvements and a lot of fixes in Project Resolve that hopefully for most of you are going to make the experience more stable.
Will new skills be introduced? It's not the plan that we have right now.
It's not the plan right now. Right now we're focusing really on on gear, on items, on weapons, and also looking at everything we have in the game already and improving that and making sure everything belongs into the gear game and everything is relevant and you have as many options as you want. And then, in the future, if we want to explore new skills, maybe. But right now, this is not a priority for us. There's a lot of skills already, so let's make sure they're all equally as fun and as rewarding and as powerful before we start adding new ones.
Also, a question about new incursion or a new raid.
Well, I mean, we're not here to talk about future plans. So do give us feedback. Tell us what you want in the future in the game, and we'll see.
A question about the specialization, and is there anything about the specialization on this update?
Not specifically. No, there's no specific change. I know that a long time ago we announced the specializations revamp, and we put that on ice because what we had was just it's one of those things that you put design on paper, you put ideas on paper, and you're like, yeah, that sounds great, and then you implement it. And then it just doesn't work. And the initial proposition we had was one of those. Like we worked on it, we implemented the first version, and it just absolutely didn't achieve what we wanted it to achieve. So we've put it on ice. One day, hopefully, we will get back to specializations and revisit them. But this is not the plan right now. So no specific changes to specializations in this update.
Will there be a next-gen update?
A next-gen update, not at the moment, also not the plan.
And the last question that I wanted to keep for the very end, since, as I mentioned, there are not a lot of questions. What is the release date of the Project Resolve? So the release date right now is planned for February. That's not the date. It's just a month, and I guess we will be able to give you the final date quite soon. But before that, we need to go through 2 PTS phases first. And also, depending on the amount of feedback, that would give us the release date. But right now, it's planned to be released together with the Season 3 Vanguard, and the targeted month is February. So I hope that answers your question. And yeah, once again, the roadmap is going to be published on our social media, website, same for the VOD of this Twitch stream. So if you have any other questions, just let us know on socials. We will be happy to address them.
There's one question actually I see here, but
which one?
that I can answer. Will we be able to dismantle items directly into expertise? Actually, the tinkering menu that we talked about will include the expertise menu as well. So what that means is that from the world, you will be able to open the expertise and you will be able to dismantle into expertise directly without having to go back to the base of operations. So yes, you cannot do that directly from an item, but you will be able to open your expertise screen from anywhere in the world.
See, this whole relationship is based on complete distrust in each other's abilities. Like, I do not trust Yannick to have his cards in correct order, and he doesn't trust me to look through all the questions.
Reading over your shoulders to be like, Daria, you missed one.
But thank you for mentioning it. And yeah, that's it. We do not have any other questions, at least not what was collected from the chat. But I think we talked pretty much about everything, and the rest of your questions, if there are anything, we will be happy to answer those after the PTS. Yeah.
And again, this is the high level, right? There's a lot of details that we may have missed that have not been listed here. Some of them will not be on the PTS just yet. There are changes that are still coming in, but maybe not on this phase, on later phases. Some of the stuff we talked about might not be on this PTS, but it will come later. So this is an organic process. And again, there is more to Project Resolve than just what we listed here. But these were the main changes we wanted to highlight.
Yeah, just a glimpse at what's coming, and more information is going to be available soon. Do not forget about the PTS preload on 14th, and then the PTS is available from 15th to 18th of December. That's the first phase. The second one is going to be in January, and of course, we're going to update you about all the dates and timing when it's closer to the date. And before we go, we actually want to thank you for sticking with us through a very special report where we didn't show anything no new gear, no new features apart from what we discussed regarding Project Resolve. Thank you so much for being here, for having trust in the team, and we're going to continue relying on your feedback in the future, and we're going to be waiting for you on the PTS. Thank you so much.
Give us feedback. Hello agents. Today we're happy to announce Project Resolve, a comprehensive seasonal update focused on health and quality of life for The Division 2.
Thanks to your feedback, our goal with Project Resolve is to enhance the overall player experience and establish a solid foundation for future content by making significant improvements to the game's health and stability. The recent shift in season length has allowed us to focus on building this broad and impactful update while maintaining the game quality as you continue to enjoy our content.
We will start with a public test this week, followed by another test in January, culminating in the full release in February to all Division 2 players. Project Resolve is divided into 3 key areas: stability, health, and gameplay improvements. From thousands of bug fixes to PvP improvements, we are digging into everything.
Just to give you a glimpse at the few main areas of improvements Division agents can expect: enhanced stability with a focus of in-game performance and reducing crashing on all platforms. Improvements to PvP combat with a status effects rework, conflict rewards buffs addressing glitches, and more to make the experience more enjoyable for everyone.
Major balancing overhaul to give you more choices for powerful weapons in PvE. Expertise and optimization cost reduction to make upgrades more accessible. Changes to projects and global events to make them more fun and worthwhile.
Quality of life improvements, including scaling open world loot crates with world difficulty and the ability to recalibrate directly from the inventory.
And we have more you can find out about in our article linked in the description.
Initiating Project Resolve meant our team needed to build a solid foundation, which has affected some of our previously announced plans. Following the current season, Year 5, Season 3, Vanguard, will release in February 2024, which will include the health updates from Project Resolve in full, as well as normal seasonal content you expect, like a new manhunt, season pass, and the apparel event. This does mean we have made the tough decision to move the DLC release to 2025.
As always, your input is invaluable to us, and we will continue to incorporate it into our decision-making processes as we continue the journey of improving the game as part of Project Resolve and beyond.
To provide you with more insight into the next few months, we'll release detailed patch notes and provide frequent updates on the PTS content and results.
Starting December 15th, PC players will have the opportunity to test out this initial set of changes and fixes alongside Season 3 gear.
We can't wait for you to dive in and explore the new features and improvements. You can get ready by preloading the public test server on December 14th, so you'll be all set to jump right into the action.